So my presentation is just like you, Melanie. It's non-technical. So executive leadership for cyber resilient organization. From Chito, from Alvin, we're all discussing about resilience. It's not an IT matter anymore. It's business. It's enterprise-wide. I hear about collaboration, a very good ingredient in resiliency. I heard about the topic that I really love, 2006, 20 years ago, when that governance started by Isaka. It was very new. There's even no material for IT governance exam back then, the CGIT. So I was one of the first taker there because I get in love with IT governance. And so governance, collaboration, and this is partly a summary of what we've all discussed about. There's technical part there, and there's community and service, and there's the audit and the governance. No? So very familiar. I think the talk of the town today is AI acceleration. We cannot resist. I keep telling my wife, you know what, this AI, it's really a monster that we will face, apart from the quantum computing. So nothing more to explain to this, but it's being used for defense, but it's being used for attacking us. Digital transformation, back then it's called business transformation. Ang dami natin dinaanan, di ba? Cloud, SaaS, etc. And all this digital transformation, there's a breakdown of that. Application transformation, infrastructure transformation, data transformation, all of this. There's trust and governance that you love to talk about. And you're correct, no? The board, they have to trust us. When you go out there and you present even at the executive committee and they don't understand you, you're dead. Your budget is cut, diba? So, and then lastly, very familiar. Today, cyber risk is a business risk. It has to go all the way up to the enterprise-wide risk management system, EWRM. I had the privilege back then, before 2010, the Aboitiz Group created our very first risk register for the entire conglomerate. And back then, cybersecurity, it's not in the map. A decade after, with Jojo Sito, my partner, top 3, cybersecurity. And so, needless to discuss today, no? So, executive leadership matters because of this. There are lots, but us, particularly in cyber and cybersecurity, it matters. Every digital means also a risk, okay? This is a framework from experience. So when I was asked to talk about it, I kind of contemplate. I was asking my wife, you know what, dear, every time I create a slide, I would go back memory lane on how I did it when I was with all these companies. And this is a very simple step that anyone could adopt, no? Like, we're talking about leadership. So leadership, sometimes you're lost. What role are you playing? I started information security in 2004. My first title was Network Security Administrator. I was configuring firewall. And 20 years after, that identity is very different now. There's now role CISO. So we'll discuss about that. Expectation. Back then, I don't know what are expected from me. There's no playbook. You will be given multiple roles. For those who started their career in the space of cybersecurity, information security, assurance, governance, you play all the roles. So, very important, what is the role that you're going to play? By this time, 20 years after, you have to clarify that. You cannot be confused and you cannot be doing multi-hats. No? Leadership attributes. Once you are confirmed, like, okay, this is what is expected, you have to understand your gap personally. And that's why Justin here mentioned that I was very active back then to this organization, because you know why? When I was assigned in information security, I didn't know what to do, Justin. ISO was very new. CISSP is something like very remote. That's why we've taken those, because those are my clue. So all attributes are skills that you need to build on in order for you to deliver what is expected from you. So, naging fan ako ng enterprise architecture, naging fan ako ng IT governance, information security governance, assurance, all the certifications before early 2010, because we need that attributes to be close, right? And then all of those should help us. We should be able to contribute on this organizational resilience or cybersecurity resilience. So let's talk about one by one. I was here in 2004, early 2000. Technical expert. They asked me to configure firewall. I read signatures, the ideas, signatures analysis. And I track hackers, Cableton Dragon ideas. My role back then is I was very technical. Just like Justin of today. Parang the Justin of today is the colleagues of the previous life. Then suddenly, colleagues, you need to form this mandate like you have to assign within the conglomerate a security leader. I got promoted. Oh my God. I got promoted. So I became a manager wherein I learned controls and operational controls and security control and so on. So it's really more of technical. Like, so naubos yung word ko before, like when I talk to people, technical control and so on. And even we started adapting a lot of frameworks. That's when also the rise of the many ISOs. Sunod-sunod yung mga ISO before. ISO 27001, 22301, before the BS 257, and so on. So, and then you become a risk executive. You translate. I talk a lot technical. When I present budget back then, it's all about risk. It's all about architecture and so on. But you have to evolve. You have to be a risk executive. ISO 27001 was very helpful back then because you know what? Asset-based risk assessment. Back then, it's the most beautiful framework back then. You could discuss technical security into a content that could be appreciated. The enterprise leader, this is where I think for most CISOs today, this is where we have to be, right? Most of us, we will travel here, this side. The not so conglomerate, not so regulated. So you're gonna be having your leadership identity between you. For the regulated organization, the large conglomerate, you will be on this aspect. And you have to reach at this level. Like you are an enterprise leader. You talk about enterprise resiliency. Very obvious. What is an expectation for all of us? Back then, I mentioned to you, my experience, my role back then, depending on which company I was with, defines the expectation. Like a mature organization would expect you to have this role. I joined a startup. It was a different security leadership. I joined another industry. It was different. So when you join an organization, you have to understand what is expected from me. Because if you don't crack it, you're going to be very busy and not knowing what you're actually doing. Okay? So, overall, summarizing it, information security practitioner, the very first, protect, right? Protect the value or protect the organization, technical, organizational. In the banking industry, compliance, like we're pressured. The bank people, BSP, now we have NPC, in the telco we have NPC. So, quick security checklist compliance, we have to pass it. External compliance, third-party compliance, and so on. Well, sometimes you have to do it, di ba? Naghahabol tayo, di ba? Expected from your role. This is what we're talking about. Lead the cybersecurity crisis. Like not only during the actual crisis, but prior to that. Justin mentioned a while ago, it's not a question of when your resiliency will be tested, no? You have to engineer it ahead of time, and you also mentioned that, no? So that is these are three very common. And I would agree with you, Melanie. The talent and workforce. This is what we want to close in our very own organization. Sino dito yung may mga kulang na talent na bakante for the last 3 months in in their cybersecurity organization. Dami, di ba? Di natin ma-fill in. Because we lack talents. And that's why DICT is helping us grow it and reach this, hopefully reachable, before the end of the term, 100,000 workforce down now. So as ISOG, IC Squared, we're all helping to reach that goal, no? And ito, support and enable company growth. Ito yung when AI is out there, when AI expected by the board that, hey, we have to accelerate, we have to adapt it. Minsan tayo maging showstopper. We are the showstopper here. Like, you know, we need to check it like, where's the checklist there and so on. No? So the challenge to all of us CISOs is that we want to be fast. We want to contribute to that, transformation. But at the same time, it is our ultimate accountability for that transformation to be safe. So we have to accept it sometimes. A lot of our executive peers, they actually hate us. Ang tagal ni cybersecurity, di ba? Ano ba ginagawa ni cybersecurity? So, but still, we have to perform this expectation from our respective organization. Attributes. So I mentioned about my experience back then that when I understood my role back then, what are the gaps and what are the skills that I need to learn? And so, generally, at our level today, not only executive leader, but any level of leadership in cybersecurity, whether you're a junior leader, a middle management, or an executive, like you hold the C and you report to the board, I think this is very generic. Melanie mentioned a while ago, the board will not make pansin of you, no? They will not entertain you, closed door, when you don't align, when you don't have strategic alignment or strategic leadership thinking. The best way to do this and how I learned this every time, and I keep tuning it, budget. Budget is your very first clue on the alignment. You participate in strategic planning. This paper works like objective setting, metrics, and measure. You have to take it seriously. I spend time, when I realized that this is my tool, I spend time planning. Because if your budget is not linked to its strategic objectives, and you have to have cybersecurity objectives, and they have to put a stamp on that alignment, you will not get your budget. You will not get your budget. So, budget at the lowest level. At the highest level, you go to the board, you must have your what? TRI, your risk score that you present. Yun lang naiintindihan ng board. The metrics and measure that you mentioned, you have to very, very clear in designing it. Huwag niyong dayain. Minsan, ito madaling i-report, di ba? So that's how you show strategic leadership. Very recently, again, to go back, innovation is only technology. Innovation in so many forms. But very recent, we have to be fluent in AI. Because the board are reading it, or the management are reading or requiring it. They will ask you, di ba? What's the risk of AI? How are we going to use this AI and so on? So it is expected nowadays now. Governance integrity, you cannot further explain it than the governance expert herself. We have to have that trust. Like we are in telco, we cannot afford to have an incident. Bank, you cannot afford to have that incident, no? Trust from your customer and trust from within. They have to trust you that you could protect your organization, that you could be resilient. And that is something that we attributes that we need to carry now. People and communication. I agree with you, people plus culture. If you're born CISO or head of security coming from technical, not from the business side, you will always end up with this technical jargon. Over time, in 20 years, you have to realize how to speak business, how to speak with non-technical people. Only in that form, you will be understood. Okay? Ito, leadership development. Cyber workforce is an item that we need to address, but within that cyber workforce creation, we have to have this leadership development. In my previous life, I asked to resign, like I have to move on. It took me 6 months to 1 year to look for a replacement, I was asked, can you look for your replacement? So, right. So we have to be in resiliency, people ready to take over is very important, diba? Succession planning, yeah. And personal resilience. Sometimes, pag nagkaroon ng incident, dapat ikaw yung pinakakalmadong tao. My experience back then, we had a major incident, it shut down our entire shipping operations. You know what happened? And I was back then a junior head of security, and this is executive who was in charge, technically, the sitting CIO. The title back then, CIO. We had a major breach. You know what happened? After 1 hour of the breach, he left. Wala siya sa table, though. So, you should not quit. You should not be panicking in the middle of the crisis. That's where you're most needed. And, di ko alam kung mag-yoga ka dyan or something, you have to absent. You have to be calm because people, the resiliency, recovery, and all this ritual is not only played by you. All of you executives are part of it, but they look up to you to have that, intelligence, expertise, and calmness. Okay? Exactly, yeah. Mga military sanay dyan, Okay, so this is a very simple workflow. Like when I go back based on experience, leadership will help us to attain resiliency or enterprise resiliency. We have to be good leaders. It's hard to build it one time. You have to have that experience, learning curve, and so on. I had a hard time learning it, especially during the decade wherein cybersecurity wasn't appreciated yet. Ngayon, iba eh. Like, young folks under 30s or in 30s, they are head of InfoSec, diba? Back then, you have to earn that stripe. Not only it's not appreciated, but you have to go to that progression. You have to shortcut it now. I'm lucky I have that, lead time. But today, you really have to work on your leadership now. You have to multiply yourself. Hindi lang ikaw dapat yung sikat. Many of you know. So you have to have, you build people and you create duplicate of you. More resilient leaders. With that, you can have a resilient workforce. Workforce that when something fails, all of them will play part in the resiliency process. Disaster recovery, business continuity, and so on. And I think this is the progression we're in. With all of those elements, enterprise resilience could be achieved. Of course, just a lot of details here. Like, I love the details that you presented, but in a nutshell, this is how leadership should execute cyber resilience. And I really focus on the leader and people and the talent that will play part in this process. Action plan, know what matters, critical surveys and crown jewels. Naalala ko yung sinasabi mo eh. Like, have you tested? Have you done your tabletop? That simple document of what is critical or not, it has to be there. No? You have to understand which system, which business is important. No? So, kung merong risk registry, sa business continuity, merong business impact analysis, application impact analysis, you have to undergo those processes. I think all of us knows it already, no? Kasi minsan, we were one of those early companies who designed our business continuity. It's flawed. We did not follow a good sequence. So kung sinong mataas na bosses, hindi, yung ARP ko yan, and the rest, di ba? We had that, and then when we review it, we just realized, oh my God, we can actually have the ERP done for the next 15 days. Like, so you have to know that, build prepared culture, communicate before pressure. One of the key elements in information security, cybersecurity is awareness. Hindi yung mangyari sa beses. Phishing, back then, physical pa, no? Tuturo ka. It has to be built. It's not, it has to be built over time. And that will build culture. But that simple element, always taken for granted, has to be there. Sabi ko nga kung merong budget na bibigay sa piso, hindi ako bibili ng firewall awareness, culture building. Doon ko ilalagay yung piso ko. I mentioned a while ago, we have to develop future leaders. Next in line. Next, resilient leaders. No? Very obvious. Embed cybersecurity into strategy, strategic planning. Be obsessed in participating in strategic planning. Outline your security objectives and metrics and measure. KPIs for the performance, for the risk management, for the board, key result indicators. That's what they understood in a summary. Okay? If you have identified the crown jewels, the business, the process, you have to do this before it happens. No? It has to be practiced. Kung hindi, chaos. Sino dito ang dumanan ng incident? Ikaw palagi, no? Crazy, right? Hands-on, real life. Have you experienced a real incident? As in, yeah. The greatest lesson there is that there's always going to be chaos. And so, good thing that there's a lot of playbooks, but you have to exercise it. Yeah. And then, mentioned by a lot of speakers, continuously adapt. Learn from within. Ang tawag natin dyan sa incident management, post-mortem. Lessons learned. What went wrong and what went right. And do it right before the incident, not a month after. Within 2 or 3 days. And then learn from others. Yung mga chismis like, alam mo, nakapala si Igov nung, hindi ko lang yan. Learn from it. Read a lot. Like, I love what you've shared. You know, binasa ko yung mga previous, I forgot about Solar. Ano nga ba nang like kay SolarWinds? But reading it really help you. And more significant is from within the Philippines or from within your industry or from within your QC. So kaya, some of the CISOs here, some of the information security head, yung mga magkakaibigan, we share like especially a friend of you running or heading an organization got hacked, you could make a phone call. Parang ano nangyari? And that's sometimes you call cheeses, but that's learning from your peers. It's very important. The rest, you read it in the newspaper, true or not, diba? So, okay. So questions, I know you have all answers to this, depending in your maturity, depending on your role, and so on. But, you know, when you go home today, you might want to ask this very common question. Parang dali, di ba? Alam ko na, di ba? Pero think of the answer in what state you are right now. And I think it will help you re-strategize, recalibrate your resiliency plan. Parting words, leadership is the foundation of resilience. We need technology. We need those to detect attacks. We have so many tools. Galing ka sa Cisco, galing ka, all of this, there's a lot of tools nowadays. But during a crisis, it's not the tool that will help us. It's the people managing it, not a single person, but the entire leadership with resiliency skills, with resiliency practice. People will help, the rest of the team will help survive a crisis. So with that, thank you so much. So,